Join me as I challenge myself to stick to a daily habit that could totally transform my spiritual journey. I've always been fascinated by the power of daily habits and how they can completely flip our lives around. For me, it all started with a simple question. What if just one small habit could change everything? I began to explore this idea, and what I discovered was truly life-changing. To be honest, my spiritual life wasn't always on track. I often felt disconnected from my faith and unsure of how to deepen my relationship with God. It was like I was going through the motions, attending church and praying, but not really feeling a sense of connection or purpose. I felt lost and didn't know where to turn. This feeling of disconnection led to a lot of frustration and disappointment. I would try to read my Bible or pray, but my mind would wander, and I wouldn't feel like I was getting anything out of it. I started to wonder if I was just not cut out for this whole spiritual thing. Maybe I was just not good enough or smart enough to understand it. As time went on, I began to feel like I was just pretending to be a spiritual person, but it wasn't really sinking in. I felt like I was missing out on something deeper and more meaningful. I knew I needed to find a way to break through this barrier and connect with my faith on a deeper level. Sometimes it felt like I was just going through the motions, and that wasn't fulfilling at all. I knew I needed a change, but I didn't know where to start. I felt stuck and unsure of how to move forward. One day, I stumbled upon a simple daily habit that started to shift my perspective. I began to commit to a daily practice of meditation and prayer. At first, it was tough. My mind would wander and I would get distracted. But I persisted, and slowly but surely, I started to notice a change. I felt more calm, more centered, and more connected to my faith. As I continued to make this habit a part of my daily routine, I started to notice that I was more patient and more compassionate throughout the day. I was more aware of my thoughts and feelings, and I was able to respond to situations in a more thoughtful and intentional way. It was amazing to see how this one small habit was having such a big impact on my life. The more I meditated and prayed, the more I started to feel a sense of connection to something bigger than myself. I started to see the world in a new light, and I began to feel a sense of awe and wonder at the beauty and complexity of life. It was like a veil had been lifted, and I was seeing everything for the first time. Looking back, there was one pivotal moment when I realized just how much this daily habit had transformed my spiritual journey. I was out in nature, and I felt a sense of peace and connection that I had never felt before. It was like I was a part of everything, and everything was a part of me. In that moment, I knew that this daily habit had been the key to unlocking a deeper level of spiritual awareness and connection. In the end, my journey has taught me the importance of consistency and commitment in spiritual practices. It's not always easy, and it's not always immediate, but with persistence and patience, we can experience transformation in our lives. If you're on a similar journey, I'd love to hear about it. What daily habits have you found to be most impactful? If you're interested in learning more about my journey and how to cultivate daily habits for personal growth, be sure to check out my next video where I'll be sharing more tips and insights. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear from you.